I'm so grateful that I was diagnosed with Addison's disease. I tell people it's the best thing that ever happened to me because it changed my perspective. And I went, oh, I want to live life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to take this for granted. I'm going to live. So even when my legs stopped working, I just kept going. I traveled. I jumped at every opportunity I could. You want to swim with sharks? Sign me up. There's a volcano erupting in Hawaii. Let's go. And let's fly in a helicopter over an erupting volcano.
I'm Becky Brower, and I'm a Sendy Mom. Welcome to the Sendy Mom podcast. Welcome to the Sendy Mom podcast. I am so excited to be here with my friend Rachel Farnsworth, and we've known each other not really well, but for like at least a few months being on the mountain bike team together. I guess I saw you last year a little bit, but things have changed a lot over the last year.
Things have changed a lot in my life. I was just on the periphery of everything in life. And now suddenly I can join back in.
You can do a lot more than you used to. So I'm so excited to kind of dig deep into that. And so I'll just say Rachel is like super famous.
Whenever that comes up, I say, listen, I'm a G-list celebrity. Like there's D-list celebrities. And if you keep going down, I'm at like G.
Yeah, but 12 million subscribers to your channel is like not nothing. So.
Well, it's across the board. Listen, I just happened to start publishing content online before the term content creator came about or influencer. At the time, it was just blogger. I was a blogger.
Right.
I was a mommy blogger who published recipes online, and then people started being able to make money doing that. And I wanted a way to maybe I could contribute to paying for groceries.
Yeah.
That was the goal. Like if I could just cover the cost of groceries for our family, that would be amazing.
Wow.
And it turned into this empire business.
Huge. So Rachel is the founder of the Stay-at-Home Chef. So she does lots of videos and posts on her website of recipes and ideas about cooking, and she's published 2 cookbooks.
Yes.
Right?
So I have 2 cookbooks. One has 1 bestseller award.
That's amazing.
And then the other has 5.
That's incredible.
So, I never thought that would happen.
Yeah.
Like all of these things, I feel like I kind of just accidentally stumbled into all of this, but also there was still a lot of intention and purpose. And most of it was just to be able to have an outlet to share my passions with the world. Right. That was something that I was good at, was cooking and developing recipes. I started developing recipes when I was 12.
That's amazing.
So I was never interested in just the cooking aspect. I've always been interested in the science of cooking.
Okay.
And developing recipes.
So do you have any kind of a degree or certificate in culinary arts or anything like that?
No, I specifically didn't go that route because number one, it's extremely expensive. And a lot of accomplished chefs will tell you, don't go to culinary school. It's a waste of time and money.
Really? Okay.
Yes, because it costs too much. If you go to the traditional culinary schools, it can cost as much as a university degree. However, your pay when you exit culinary school is near minimum wage.
Is that right?
Yeah. It takes quite a number of years for you to work your way up to a livable wage working as a chef. And even then, that's never guaranteed.
Interesting. Yeah.
And you can do the same by just working your way up in the kitchen. But I also knew I didn't want to work in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I didn't want that lifestyle and those hours.
Well, tell me a little bit about your growing up. So you started cooking when you were 12 and developing recipes, and
yes,
it was all chemistry, right?
Yes. So it was 6th grade.
Okay.
I was in the orchestra, and it was time for a bake sale to earn money for our trip to, I think it was Magic Mountain.
Okay.
And my mom said, well, if you're going to be doing this, you need to be the one to earn the money and you need to bake the cookies. So here's a recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Go for it. And I started making the cookies, and it called for, like a quarter teaspoon of baking soda.
Okay.
I couldn't find the quarter teaspoon, but I found a quarter cup. So I just used that. I was 12. I didn't know the difference. And those cookies were massive.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happens when you put baking soda, that much baking soda in?
Oh, they just like grew like they were slime, that slime that goes everywhere.
Right,
it was like flubber. Just going everywhere in the kitchen. And then they tasted absolutely terrible.
Of course.
But that really piqued my interest. And it sounds so silly now, but I thought if there's that big of a difference between a quarter teaspoon and a quarter cup, what do all of the other ingredients do?
Yeah.
And so I started baking batch after batch after batch of cookies, and I would change just one small thing with each ingredient. Because, when it comes to chocolate chip cookies, it's always going to be flour and eggs and butter and things like that. So what does each ingredient do, and what happens if you change it by even a small amount? And so I came up with my own recipe for chocolate chip cookies. And they were, my family loved them.
Yeah.
People would look forward to them at bake sales after that.
Really?
And, that's actually on the cover of my most recent cookbook, is me holding a platter
of those cookies. Okay. So what was it? What was the secret that changed them?
It's not really like one secret. It's really just the ratios of each ingredient. I add a little bit more vanilla than you typically find in a recipe, but it's just those small adjustments, and people really do love those cookies.
So how did your parents like respond to you with these, ideas that you had for cooking?
Well, my parents loved it when I was at home and did all of this experimentation, but they've been proud of me for everything that I've built over the years and super supportive. My sister also blogs.
Oh, okay.
We both started around that same time.
So tell me her name and what's her blog.
Jennifer, she blogs at thecraftpatchblog.com.
Okay.
So she shares mostly like crafts and DIY and also a lot of things that are like inexpensive. She's really good at being frugal and thrifting, things like that.
And is really crafty.
Very crafty.
Yeah, that's really fun. Well, good. And you guys started about the same time?
Yes, we did.
So what did I want to go back. What did your dad do, or what were your mom and dad into?
So my dad is a PhD geologist.
Oh, okay.
So when I was little, I'm one of the older kids, so I have an older sister. She's the one that blogs. And then there's a large gap before my next sibling. So it's kind of the two of us. And I remember him being a student at USC.
Oh, okay.
I lived in Anaheim, which is nowhere near USC. He commuted that distance. And he got his PhD in seismology. So
earthquakes, studying
it's
earthquakes.
Like geophysics and seismology. And then he worked in the oil and gas industry for just a little bit. And then when I went off to college, he went off to college at the same time. He actually became a professor at BYU, Idaho.
Oh, okay. Does he still do that?
Yes.
Then? Okay.
So he's in his final 2 years before he retires. But yes, he is still a geology professor at BYU, Idaho, which is great. My mom, actually, she was a stay-at-home mom for most of my growing up. When I was little, she worked, but she was mostly a stay-at-home mom, and she actually went back to college and went to BYU, Idaho, and got a degree in fine arts, and she's an artist.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
And then it was so inspiring that she inspired her own mother, who decided to go back and get her degree too. Okay. I think she started at age 76 or 78.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But she graduated a few years ago, actually, and she passed earlier this year.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah. But, like we can continue to educate ourselves throughout our lives. Like it is never too late to continue
never.
to learn,
Well, that's what my grandma, she expressed it so well that she had decided, well, what am I going to do after her husband passed?
Mm-hmm.
Do I just sit around and be lonely
Yeah.
until I die? Or do I go and do something that I'd always dreamed of doing? Because she loved learning.
Yeah.
She loved learning. She was a lifelong reader and learner. Going back to school and getting a degree was just, it made her light up. She was so happy. In fact, there was this class that she took where they had some beginning of the year assignment that was just kind of supposed to be a get to know you, where you're supposed to write a few pages about your life.
Mm-hmm.
She took all semester to turn in that assignment and had a whole book.
Wow.
About her life.
That's amazing. Well, life history, that's probably really nice to have.
Exactly. Yeah. And so she would just take these assignments and put her whole heart into them.
Yeah. Well, because you love it. When you're going to school, when you're educating yourself about something that you love, you're going to put a little bit more into it. So let's switch gears and go into, when did you find out that you were sick? And tell me a little bit about your disease.
So I first got sick during my second pregnancy.
Okay.
And that's a whole story in and of itself. But really the short version is that they thought I had hyperemesis, which became famous because Kate Middleton, Princess Kate, had hyperemesis. It's where you throw up a lot. It's like extreme morning sickness. Okay. So they thought I had this extreme morning sickness.
You were throwing up a lot?
Yeah. I was hospitalized a couple of times, ended up on home health care so that I could have an IV at home.
Wow.
And a nurse would come and help me with the IV, and I had to learn to run it myself so that I could just stay hydrated and have some sort of vitamins. But it usually gets better, and mine didn't, and it was getting worse. And I ended up in the ICU, and they didn't know what was going on, and I ended up being diagnosed with Addison's disease, which is a disease where your body basically has killed off your adrenal gland and you don't produce cortisol anymore.
Oh, is that kind of autoimmune?
It is.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and cortisol is involved in every process in the human body. Yeah. And without it, you die.
Yeah.
And so they caught it. It's miraculous that they even caught it in time. My numbers were so low that I should have been dead.
Wow.
And somehow I ended up carrying that pregnancy to full term, and we both lived, which is crazy. No one really expected that. In fact, they didn't want to let me take my baby home from the hospital because they didn't know what would happen to her.
Yeah.
They didn't really expect her to live.
And was she normal, like weight?
Yes.
And
she was actually particularly heavy.
Really?
She was a 10-pound baby. So she had a few problems when she was an infant, and it was due to the medication that I was taking to keep me alive.
Yeah.
Made her adrenal gland not produce enough cortisol as an infant, but she did grow out of it.
And so she is producing cortisol.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was just the first 6 to 8 months of her life were...
That must have been really scary for you.
I mean, I don't know. You just go through it. And you just hope for the best.
Well, even when you didn't know what was going on and you're just throwing up all the time, you'd had one baby and you didn't have that experience with
I threw up a lot. So it would have been early on in the disease.
Okay.
So I had a difficult time with him. And in fact, we even said when we were wanting to have a second, well, it couldn't possibly be any worse than the first time.
Right.
It was so much worse. It was so much worse. But yeah, I mean, you just go through it. The scariest part was the first night that we took her home.
Okay.
I woke up in the morning and I grabbed Stephen and immediately panicked and said, I didn't get up at all during the night. She didn't cry.
Oh, Yeah. Oh,
And I
that
was
is
like,
so scary.
I said, you have to be the one. I can't be the one to find her. I
Yeah.
can't be the one to find her. I need you to go
Yeah.
and look. Because she slept
All the
10
way.
hours.
That's incredible.
The first night home.
Yeah.
That
doesn't
happen. It doesn't happen.
No.
But we joke because she just stayed asleep for most of the first 3 months of her life.
Wow.
You couldn't get her to wake. Like I would have to wake her up to feed her. That when
would
you talk
scare
about
you.
fear, that was the moment that I actually felt the fear of what we were going through, because they didn't expect her to live. They didn't really want to release her from the hospital. And then there I am. I take her home anyway. And then she doesn't wake up during the night.
Yeah.
And it's just every mother's worst nightmare. And yet there she was just sleeping peacefully.
Yeah. And how old is she now? 13?
14, almost 15.
Almost 15. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And she's totally healthy and rides her bike like a champ.
Yep.
So
that was kind of the start of me being sick and adjusting to having this lifelong autoimmune condition that I would have to deal with, where it's kind of like having diabetes, but there's no test strips to test
whether it's
my cortisol like there is for blood sugar.
Yeah.
So I just have to guess and learn to adjust.
Okay.
For my needs.
So do you have some symptoms that happen to help you to know, like, okay, it's getting low? And what do you take? Do you have like a medication you take for it?
It's corticosteroids.
Okay.
So when you get prescribed prednisone or something after, that's what I take. I take something a little smoother than prednisone. I started on that, but hydrocortisone is much better.
Okay.
So a lot of people have experience with that. They take it in higher doses though. I just take a small dose.
Okay. Yeah.
And I take it throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And so that was its own adjustment. And then in 2017, I started having mysterious symptoms where my legs would cramp up for days at a time. And I just couldn't walk.
Wow.
And I would just call it, my legs would stop working.
Huh.
And they really weren't sure what it was. They thought probably MS. Okay. So we were kind of just watching it, but I was really busy with the stay-at-home chef. And so I just kept going. Yeah. I got a wheelchair during that time so that if my legs stopped working when I needed to be at a conference or some sort of event, that I could still do that. Mm-hmm. But then it started happening more and more frequently. Then in 2020, I caught an early strain of COVID. I was sick in March of 2020.
Oh my goodness.
I was sick for 63 days. I even did a little stint in the hospital.
Wow.
And it was awful. And then I just never got better and everything got worse. And I started seeing all sorts of specialists, like, we've got to figure this out. Yeah. I found out I had a brain tumor.
What?
Yes, I have a brain tumor.
You do now?
I do. It's sitting right above my right ear.
Wow. And just growing slowly.
Just growing slowly. We just watch it. It doesn't appear to have caused any of my symptoms. It's just
there. It's just part of Rachel.
I just happen to have a brain tumor. That didn't explain anything. And so bouncing around from specialist to specialist while I slowly had these progressive symptoms. So, everyone's had a Charlie horse. Yeah. I was having that in my calf muscles, but it would be a Charlie horse that lasted for 10 days.
And you couldn't get rid of it. You couldn't massage it out.
No, extremely painful. But then it spread beyond my calf muscles and it started happening in every muscle in my body.
Oh, that must have been so painful.
Extremely painful. Yeah. And it wasn't just these muscles that we tend to think of because we work out. Yeah. But also my intestines and my stomach were impacted. And then
your digestion is horrible.
Yes. Too. I started not being able to digest a lot of foods and just a lot of pain when eating, a lot of pain. And then it progressed to my esophagus.
Oh, that's scary.
And I was choking on food. So I had to move to a pureed foods diet.
Wow.
And I did that for 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay. I just had mouth surgery like, yeah, I think you were there when I was doing that. And I was like, oh, I've got this soft foods diet. I had to do it for 2 weeks. Nothing like 2 years. I cannot even imagine. That was hard enough.
Especially with what I do for a
Yeah.
living.
Yeah, I would say so.
It was
So what did
torture.
you do? So you're like, you're making this beautiful food that you can't even eat, and you can't really even taste it to see if it tastes okay.
I would taste things and spit it out.
Okay.
I actually stopped developing recipes there for most of it.
Yeah, I was going to say mentally that would just be so challenging.
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I had employees that I kind of just let run things,
Uh-huh.
and I just looked away.
Yeah.
I looked away from the food and just did other things. I do things on like the back end of the internet.
Okay.
We'll say, like, I've done consulting for different platforms and stuff and different tech companies.
Okay.
So I focused more on doing that and just trying to get through what I was going through, because not only am I having these horrific pains in my body everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
I also couldn't eat, and it was just torture. It was just torture
horrible.
day after day after day.
Well, and no end in sight, really.
Only getting worse.
Yeah.
It would get worse all the time. It started moving into my hands, and I could no longer write or hold a pen.
Yeah.
So I knew that this was happening. Things were getting bad when I published my last cookbook in 2022. I canceled most of my book tour because I knew that I couldn't do any cooking demonstrations.
Yeah.
And I was also losing the ability to perform because I had some cognitive issues as well, where I would stutter a lot or mix up words and just say sentences out of order.
Yeah. Which makes sense, because if your body is like fully focused on the pain, you can't think properly.
No, it was just bizarre, and I had just so much to deal with, and I just couldn't do it. And so I had the book released in October of 2022, and I lost the ability to eat in December. So it was that close, and I just kind of hit it. I didn't share that with followers and stuff. I mean,
how do you share that?
I know that there's a lot of people who end up even just creating accounts and building followings because they're dying.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that, because it's so much to go through on your own, let alone going through it publicly.
World. Yeah.
That's really hard, because number one, you're trying to process it, and it doesn't really help to process it by sharing everything.
Yeah.
In the moment as it's happening,
Right.
you share a lot better, and you're a lot more vulnerable when you share in hindsight.
Yeah.
Rather than in the moment.
In the moment, because it's as that is scary. Like, what was your family thinking at this point? Because so it wasn't a diagnosed condition either, right? No. Yeah.
It still doesn't technically have a diagnosis.
Yeah.
They have not seen it before. I've been to Cleveland Clinic, worked with Mayo Clinic, Stanford has weighed in.
Wow.
And nobody has an answer for it other
But
than...
they can track it. They can see like the muscles contracting and everything. Yeah.
So they're calling it atypical presentation of stiff person syndrome.
Okay.
But then the doctor assures me, you don't have stiff person syndrome.
Okay.
Like, so that makes sense. I've tested negative for it.
Yeah.
3 different ways.
Uh-huh.
But he said, but if we are looking at the family of neurological conditions where this would be, it would be in the same family as stiff person syndrome. So that's what we're calling it.
Atypical. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just an atypical presentation.
And nobody else has had this.
No, they've never seen something quite like it. So my muscles will contract and they won't let go. And it spread through. I was just basically slowly becoming trapped in my own body.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. And it's slow. It's a slow process too.
Yes.
So does it have anything to do with the cortisol stuff, or is that completely different?
Completely separate and different.
Wow.
Just
lucky you. You're just so unique and special.
I'm just lucky that way. Now, people with autoimmune diseases, though, do tend to collect more autoimmune diseases.
Okay.
And this is autoimmune. So it's an autoimmune neurological condition.
Okay.
At the end, even my airway would spasm and close off. Now that was terrifying.
I can imagine. Yeah. Because the breath you cannot do without for very long.
No. And my doctor prescribed this dissolvable tablet that is a muscle relaxer.
Okay.
She said, well, you just take this. And well, how fast will it work? A few minutes. So what do you do when you're
for a few minutes?
For a few minutes. So I'll just lose consciousness. And that's when things got to be
that is scary.
Really scary. Choking was something that was scary at first, but I learned to just choke and not panic, which is such a weird skill in life. But I can now choke and not panic and just deal with it.
Okay.
But not being able to breathe, that one terrified me.
Yeah. Oof.
And luckily I started this experimental treatment that has me now like fully functional.
You look at you. I mean, you're like walking, you're moving around, you can talk, you're like,
I was in a wheelchair for 5 years. I couldn't eat for 2.5 years. I could barely leave the house. Like my average step count for last year was 700 steps a day or less. And then at the beginning of this year, it was 400 steps a day or less. Oh. And now suddenly I can walk 10 miles in a day.
That's incredible. Yeah. So how did that happen? How did that come about?
Since things were getting very real with my airway closing off, and I mean,
you were preparing for death, really.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We were very prepared for it.
How did you prepare your family for all of that?
I mean, how can you?
Really?
Other than we just would be open with the kids and talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I did my best to try and prepare them with the knowledge that they'd be okay. Yeah. We talk a lot about the hand that you're dealt in life. Mm-hmm. Everyone is dealt some sort of crappy card in life. It just is inevitable.
Yeah.
You can be born into the family of a billionaire and still end up with a crappy card in life.
Yeah.
That crappy card might be having a parent who's a billionaire.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That might be its own crappy card.
Right.
And so what do you do with the cards that you're dealt in life? What do you do with your hand? How you choose to deal with whatever you're given in life, that's what determines your happiness. Yeah. And so I would just be open with them that this is a really crappy hand you've been dealt, that your mom's real sick and she's probably going to die.
Yeah.
But how you respond to that and how you play those cards will determine where you end up in life. And I mean, I've obviously been dealt some really crappy cards, and I've still had this tremendous life where I've done so many things.
Yeah. And
honestly, I'm so grateful that I was diagnosed with Addison's disease. I tell people it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it changed my perspective. And I went, oh, I want to live life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to take this for granted. I'm going to live. So even when my legs stopped working, I just kept going. I traveled. I jumped at every opportunity I could.
Yeah.
You want to swim with sharks? Sign me up.
Yeah.
You want to do... there's a volcano erupting in Hawaii. Let's go. And let's fly in a helicopter over an erupting volcano.
Wow. Because
why not? When are we going to get the opportunity to do that again? I never pass up an opportunity to just live.
Yes.
And
what a beautiful tool that everyone can use.
Yes.
You know, live your life, like do all of the things, you know, and
say yes.
Just say yes. Yeah.
Just say yes, because you never know where it's going to lead. I've met the most interesting people. You know, we talked about, I've been on the periphery of so many things.
Right. Yeah. When you're in a wheelchair and
you can't get in.
I mean, physically, you're shorter than everybody else.
You're shorter than everyone else. You can't get into the middle of the crowd because there's literally too many obstacles. So you're always just kind of on the outskirts.
Yeah.
And I've met the most incredible people on the outskirts, and I've built up this amazing network of people that I wouldn't otherwise have, and people that may get overlooked at first.
That's who you see.
And you don't know where those roads will lead.
Yeah.
I even had an invitation. I got a member of the president's cabinet. This was years ago. Was a fan and invited me to be a special guest at the White House.
Wow. That's incredible. Did you do it?
I did not, because it was 2020 and I didn't want to travel.
Yeah.
But what an honor.
Yeah.
To have been invited to be a special guest at the White House.
That's pretty incredible. So being on the outsides, being on that and talking to the people that may be on the outsides, that's where you develop, well, just talking to people in general. I think we're so afraid of, what are they going to think of me? Am I missing a social cue here or whatever, that we don't do anything? We don't say anything, but it's when you make the effort to make that conversation that you meet amazing people. I mean,
you literally never know.
Yeah. And it's about the relationships that we develop with each other that make all the difference. Yeah.
It's about people and living life and experiencing things and connecting with others. You don't know where that's going to lead.
Yeah.
Be open, say yes, get to know people that you may have never had any other opportunity to know. Expand your circle.
Yeah. So when did you start this new procedure or the new medication or whatever it is that you're doing?
I started it at the end of March, and it was right at the end of April, like the first week of May, that the doctor, I thought that it might be working and things were getting better, but I didn't want to get my hopes up at all. I realized that hope is a very dangerous thing.
Yeah.
But I went and saw him, and just on physical exam of just testing all my reflexes, he said that he expected I would make a full recovery and go in, or not full recovery, I would go into full remission.
Okay. And why was he so confident about this? Like, to give me the technical, like, what does it actually do? Is it a medicine that you're taking? Like,
yes. So it's called immunoglobulin therapy.
Okay.
When people donate plasma, one of the uses is that they extract all of the antibodies.
Okay.
And then they pool it all together in this little syrupy liquid,
petri dish
of a bunch of people's
plasma.
Yeah, a bunch of people's antibodies.
Okay.
And then they infuse that in me.
Oh.
And it takes like 5 hours. I have to go in every other week.
Wow.
It's a long infusion.
Okay.
You do have a reaction to it. It's like getting a vaccine and how you feel sick for 24 hours or 48 hours. It feels like that every time. And then I am suddenly better. And I wish that I could explain how this works. But I have to record the conversations with my neurologist.
Yeah, with that.
Just so I can then hand the transcript to like my primary care doctor. And because I can't even, he said something, I didn't understand half the words because he speaks in theoretical medicine at this point, because that's what it is.
Right.
It has something to do with the electrical channels in my body, and they misfire.
Okay.
And so the antibodies give my body something to focus on, so it doesn't,
so that they go where they're supposed to go. Like, okay, this is really confusing me too. But it
I'm
works.
Not sure
it's kind of magic, but it's science.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's still considered an experimental treatment because they don't understand always what it does and why.
Yeah.
Because even for stiff person syndrome, which they actually do know about, at least a little. It works for, say, 60% of patients, but not the other 40%. And why is that?
Huh. Interesting.
Listen, I don't know. I'm never going to understand this.
Yeah. But
which
it works.
is weird. I don't understand what's wrong with me, and I don't understand why the treatment works, but I'm grateful for it.
Grateful. And I think that that's what it comes down to. That's another tool, is just being grateful for what you have. And then, and
while you have it.
And while you have it. Yeah. Just live in the moment, really, and just be happy about it. Tell me, like, how your life has changed since that point, because you're on this trajectory where you think you're dying. You're making videos for your children to watch when they're, 20 and getting married, or 25 and getting married, or whatever. So how did this change your life?
It has thrown us for a loop.
Mm-hmm.
As the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air said, my life got turned upside down.
Right.
And that is about the only way to describe it. It's very disorienting.
Yeah.
And I think people assume it's got to be all like rainbows and sunshine, and it's not at all.
Yeah.
We have trauma-induced PTSD.
Yeah.
And dealing with very real PTSD symptoms that are difficult, where you dissociate, and emotional numbness and a lot of anxiety and triggers where you would think that, well, you're better now, so that means
everything's rainbow and unicorns.
You're going to run with it. And I've run with it and done, as I've gone on some trips and started exercising, and, I'm like fully invested in being able to get onto a mountain bike next spring.
That's the plan.
That's the goal that I'm working towards every day.
Mm-hmm.
But also having to deal with just having a life that is completely disorienting. I've explained it. Life is like a river, and it's flowing. And when you're dying, you are slowly moving to the edge, and you're ready to get out of the river. Mm-hmm. And so I was on the banks of the river.
Yeah.
And now I'm back in, and I have to learn to swim, but everyone else has kept going.
So is it kind of like trying to catch up with?
At first it did feel like trying to catch up, but I had to embrace the fact that I can't catch up. Mm-hmm. I can't catch up to the life that
you can't go back and live that life that you could have lived.
Even just in relationships with family and friends, they've all kept going, which they should. And I encouraged them to. Yeah. My children kept going without me, and I can never catch up to them. I just have to learn to swim where I'm at. There's a lot of sadness about that. My son is a senior. Mm-hmm. He's graduating, and I feel robbed of motherhood that I didn't get to do certain things for him. Also,
none of us really do.
No.
So we all get to the end with our children and say, and you look at what other people have done, and you're like, oh, I could have done that, but it's too late now. But whatever. So we all have those experiences in our life where we recognize that what is lost, I guess. And there has to be some sort of a grieving process that goes with that. And so do you feel like that's kind of what you're going through, is a grieving process?
Absolutely. There's a lot of grief. And the thing about dying is you become very familiar with grief and walking hand in hand with grief. Mm. Grief is just the other side of the coin of joy. Yeah. Is what I've realized. And they go hand in hand. The price we pay for loving people is grieving their loss. Whether it's they've passed or they are no longer part of our life, they move away, or you lose touch, or friendships that end, and you grieve that.
Or even expectations that you've had.
Yes.
You have to go through grief for that as well. So how do you do that?
Learn how to accept that you can experience joy and grief at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
And that it's okay.
It's an altering of your perception, really.
Yeah. Well, we're all very complex.
Yeah.
We want to be able to categorize things like, oh, that's a good person and that's a bad person.
Yeah.
But good people do things that they regret all the time.
Right. Yeah.
You can be a good person and do bad things.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
And bad people also occasionally do good things
good
too.
things,
So
yeah.
we're just very complex.
We are about midway through this episode of the Sendy Mom podcast. Thank you so much for supporting the clothing drive we did for the children in the Philippines. I was blown away with your generosity in sending clothing and cash. The clothes will take a couple of months to get to the Philippines, but I will post pictures when they arrive. The money is already there, and Trixie is going to be going shopping to find some clothes for some of the kids, or dishes. The kids have to bring their own dishes, and some of them don't even have that. So I told her that would be a great way to spend the money as well. Our mission at Sendy Mom is to build, lift, encourage, persuade, and inspire women to live fearlessly. I love doing this. Please support Sendy Mom by leaving a review, liking it, and sharing it with friends and family. You can also subscribe for free at sendymom.com and don't miss an episode. And my blog posts are a little bit different than my podcast episodes, so you might get something out of those as well. Because Rachel is the stay-at-home chef, I thought it would be fun to do a spotlight on another chef who I think is awfully Sendy. Next week, we go into the life of Julia Child, chef extraordinaire. She didn't start out as a great cook. It took a lot of patience and perseverance. But once she knew that she knew, she wasn't afraid to promote herself and make a name for herself, teaching culinary arts to millions in her cooking show, The French Chef. She is much like Rachel, and I thought it might be fun to study one of the most influential cooks a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving. It's making me salivate reading her memoir. My next guest episode will come out on November 24th. Candace Berquist is a great friend of mine. She has endured many health challenges as well as challenges with special needs children. You will love our conversation. She is seriously an example of resilience, positivity, and service. You're going to be blown away by her stories. So please join us in 2 weeks for that episode. And now back to more Sendy Mom stories with Rachel Farnsworth. So I want to go back to like the stay-at-home chef and how that's been successful for you. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how you felt being in that role, and if you've had any feelings of imposter syndrome and how you've kind of dealt with that.
All the time. I don't take it very seriously, to be honest. I don't think I've ever let it get to my head or in my head. I think I've just accepted that I'm just me and I'm just sharing stuff that I love. And it still catches me off guard when someone stops me at the store at an event or something. Oh, I just love your stuff. And I'm like, who are you talking to? And like, wait, me? Wait. Or they'll, like, I've had a bunch of people this summer and last summer where they're on road trips and they come and stop
to see you,
to meet me. And wow. I'm like, but you're on vacation. Like, I'm sorry to take up your time. Or people will be nervous to meet me. And I'm like, why? I'm actually nervous to meet you. Yeah. Like, you've at least seen who I am. I don't get to see who's on the other side of the camera. I've only imagined them.
Yeah.
I always imagine somebody behind the camera. And so meeting them, I'm like nervous. I'm like, you're somebody I've only dreamed of.
Yeah.
And they're nervous to meet me. And I'm like, whoa, why? Because I'm just Rachel. And I promise I'm not that exciting.
You are very exciting, but
I'm just
with
me.
Everybody that you're meeting too. Everybody's got these incredible superpowers, you know, that just blow me away. Every time I talk to somebody and I find out what their story is, I think, how did you imagine? How did you even dream up that scheme? How did you get through that terrible trial that you've been in? But as we get to know each other and as we develop these relationships, we see that we're all the same and we're all looking for the same sorts of things in life.
Well, and I think it's viewing people as all being on the same playing field.
Yeah.
And all at the same level. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no one, I think the only person I would be nervous to meet is Taylor Swift. And honestly, I'd probably still be like, cool. Like, we can be best friends. It's fine. But I might be a little starstruck.
Yeah. What about, how have you dealt with some of the comments that people have given you on your, YouTube videos? I can't imagine all of them have been positive because you have millions of them.
Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of people who have a lot of things to say on the internet. I take them as seriously as somebody, if I'm walking down the street in New York City and I'm getting catcalled at, or just people saying random things. Just if somebody just walked up to you on the subway and said, "Wow, you're ugly," like, how would you take that seriously? No, you wonder if they're okay.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's how I feel about comments online.
Yeah.
Mostly I think, "Oh, are you okay?"
Right.
And so I actually have fun with it. I joke with them. I joke about it and will respond in funny ways that people love how I respond. But I actually got one comment that was in 2016. I was commenting about my gray hair. Yeah. She said I should dye it for TV so I don't look like such an old hag. And
I know. And you look at you and you're like, like, especially 10 years ago, like, you look like you're probably in your 20s, honestly.
Well, thank you. I mean, I feel like I'm in my 20s nowadays.
Yeah.
But earlier this year, I felt like I was in my 90s. So, we'll just...
How do you feel?
I just have experienced life out of order, I think.
Right. Yeah.
But I made a video about my response to that, which was really centered around... I don't dye my hair simply because getting diagnosed with Addison's disease just made me change my perspective on life, and that the signs I have of aging are signs that I'm still alive, and they're signs that I'm grateful for. Yeah. So I don't dye them. There's nothing wrong with dyeing your hair, but I just don't dye it because I enjoy having the signs of aging.
Yeah.
And the video, it was never actually meant to be released to the public. It was a project for an award I had received from YouTube. And we had to do a film project, but they wouldn't allow me to cook on site. Okay. So I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? And this comment came through, and I had written a response to it and shared it with friends and family on Facebook, and lots of us. Okay, I'll turn this into like some sort of video monologue,
Yeah.
And we screened it at the end of the week, and everyone was like, "Rachel, you have to publish this." And I took it home to Stephen, and he watched it and he said, "This is going to go viral." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I think you should do it anyway."
Vulnerable.
So I did it. I hit publish. If I had known how viral it would be, I probably wouldn't have done it just because I would have been too scared.
Yeah.
I would have been too scared to do it, but I have zero regrets about doing it.
Yeah. Well, it must have really resonated with a lot of people.
It did. And so it's been so amazing for my life because people have shared their stories with me in such a vulnerable way that it's an honor for me. It's an honor for me to hear their stories and connect with them on such a deep level.
Yeah.
Because I was vulnerable, and it opened the door for them to be vulnerable with me. And so the connections that I have with people through the internet are just incredible.
Yeah.
They're incredible and unique, and there's something to be treasured.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the internet, you talk about, like, especially social media and things like that. Sometimes it can feel a little bit fake or just not.
A little.
Yeah. But it also opens up the world too, so that you can communicate with people that you would have never had an opportunity to meet before. Right?
Ever.
Yeah.
I talk about, when in the history of the world has anyone been able to have such a large audience or a voice, or have such influence over people's lives, particularly women? When in the history of the world have women had such a platform and a voice?
Yep.
And I talk a lot about the women who created the internet and who built this early on, because I have watched it happen, and on a historical level,
So
I think
who are
it's
some of
particularly
those,
significant.
who are some of those people that you would say were kind of the original?
Early mommy bloggers and these early food bloggers, of course, because that's the world I'm most connected in. But even the early people on YouTube, some of them have quit.
Yeah.
And others, you know, had bad experiences with what ended up being put out online, and others have been upset with what it has turned into, where you have to just kind of keep making things up or lying.
Yeah.
Making things up and lying online pays way more than anything else. And I wish people could even begin to wrap their brains around that concept, because it really changes how you look at the internet to know that, oh, lying and making stuff up pays way more, even in recipes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
If you just make up a number for how many 5-star reviews you have on a recipe, you can just go change that.
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize that when they're looking up like a recipe online. Oh, look, it has 2,000 5-star reviews.
You just click something and
you certainly can just go on the back end and change that number. And some people do.
No way.
Wow. And shocking. It's actually been incredibly shocking and disruptive in my communities for that, to find out that people were doing that, because it's just so horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, wow, we're even lying about recipes.
Yeah. I mean, like, ethically, how, I don't know. Like, that's hard. I had thought about, trying to get sponsors, just like, I do this because I love it and I'm passionate about it. And I kind of thought, well, maybe, it would be kind of nice, what you said, to pay for the groceries or something like that. I'd love to have enough money to be able to pay somebody to help me with the editing, and because it does take me a long time to put things together, so it would be really nice to be able to pay somebody. But at the same time, I don't want to get into that position where it's not authentic. Like right now, I feel like I can have these conversations with people that are completely authentic. I can research whatever I want to. I can say whatever I want to, because nobody's paying me to do any of this. I just get to do it myself. But at some point, you have to figure out, like, who am I? And that's, I think, what you kind of did was you had people who were approaching you that wanted you to, lie for them.
Yes.
Yeah. And what did you do?
I said no. And it made me feel so gross.
Yeah.
About the whole industry. Like, why would you ask me to say that? It's clearly not true.
Yeah.
People are going to know it's not true.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And I ended up severing those relationships where I don't do any sponsored content, and I haven't since like 2018.
Yeah.
I haven't done any sponsored content, and that's a large revenue stream for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But
you have to be true to yourself.
It wasn't something that I could do anymore. And not every sponsor asks you to lie, but I just had some run-ins where I thought, you know what? I just don't want to put my energy there, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And being okay with it. But also hearing you talk about, I'd like to get paid, but I don't want to do this. There's also this problem that I've seen since the beginning of this, where women will devalue what they are doing and not request being paid, or seek out or think that they're worth being paid for their work, because they're just doing it for passion and stuff. And so women do have a tendency to undervalue themselves and to, oh, well, I'm not enough to be paid.
Yes.
So there is that weird balance that you kind of have to find of, women do deserve to be compensated for their work. You talk about, oh, I wish I could earn some money so I could pay someone to help.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear you say, so that I could be compensated for my time.
Yeah, I know.
You were willing to compensate someone else because you understand that their time is worth
valuable.
Something, but you undersold yourself. And I literally see this all the time from people,
Wow.
all the time. And it's
Yeah.
always women.
Yeah. I do feel like, oh, I'll just put my 20 hours in every week and just, but at the same time, it's a lot of time to be doing that. So
it is.
know.
And, I'm not as familiar with the podcast world and how that monetization works. I work heavily in display advertising. So it's just like the ads you see on social media or on websites.
Yeah.
I'm very involved with that and the companies that run those ads, and very familiar with how that system works, but not so much in podcast. I mean, I have a vague idea.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just being willing to say, hey, I want this sponsorship.
Yeah.
And I am valuable enough. The work that I do is valuable enough to get that.
Yeah.
And going and taking advantage of those opportunities.
Huh.
And also being willing to say no when they try and undercut you.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to think a little bit more about this.
It's kind of this wild world where I always describe it as there's all this money on the table, but you have to go be willing to grab it.
Yeah.
And you can't grab it all, and you really shouldn't.
No, right.
But there's enough to go around that people can be compensated for this work that they do to provide content for the internet. Goes back to this, the women who created the internet, a lot of everything that you see on the internet that has made it successful is people being just willing to share their passions and their talents and their skills with the world for free.
Right.
And it was largely women. Facebook was struggling. They couldn't monetize Facebook because there wasn't enough content being provided just through friends and family. So they needed content creators, right?
Yeah, right. Interesting.
So, the Mark Zuckerbergs get all the credit for creating the internet, but that's not who created it.
Yeah.
And it was largely women, and starting it the exact same way that you are, that you just want to put goodness out into the world. And honestly, that's kind of where the internet needs to go back to.
Right. And would I still be putting goodness into the world if I was being paid for it? I think that's where I come back to is like, yeah, but then then it changes this whole, and I'll probably edit all this out, but it just changes that whole idea of like, oh, this is my passion. This is what I love to do. Like suddenly if I'm getting paid for it, then I'm like, oh, I'm a money grabber, right?
Yeah, but also don't edit this out, because I think so many people need to hear that for themselves, that you are not selfish or greedy to be compensated for your time and the work that you do. It's okay to put goodness out in the world and be paid for it. You do not have to self-sacrifice and be the person who just does things all the time for free.
Yeah.
There's a place for that. I still do volunteer work and all of this stuff. And that's different than something that I'm putting out into the world. I'm spending 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week. That's a job.
Right.
And that's something you should be compensated for. And it's
know.
okay to ask for it, and it's okay. And to take it, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. Now, if you do start doing dishonest things or start
which I would never do,
fudging your morals or ethics, well, then you can feel bad about it. But it's okay. And I just have seen this in so many women, especially in those early years where monetization was just starting.
Feeling funny about like asking for money
feeling
for
funny
it.
about it, and feeling like they didn't deserve it, or but
I do this anyway for free, so
I don't want to look greedy or selfish. No, it's okay. It's okay. You know what? The men that I associate with in these spaces, they don't ever feel bad about it.
Interesting.
It's only the women who do, and they feel like they're not enough. Or they're not valuable enough, or that it's something they should feel guilty about, or like they would look greedy. Listen, if you're putting out things of value, it's okay to find ways to make it worth your time.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate that because yes, that has been a really hard thing for me to get my mind around because as a mom in particular, you're constantly doing everything. I mean, you're the health provider, you're the cook, you're the taxi driver, you're doing, all of these things, and you don't get compensated for it. Not really. I mean, you share whatever the family is making, and sometimes you make a little bit on the side, but you're not compensated for all those things. So I think we get used to, as women, just being self-sacrificing and doing all of those things. And so I've been doing that for 30 years. It's hard to get to a place where, I'm not going out to get a job. Because if I was going out to get a job, it would be a completely different story, right? Because then I expect, of course, I'm going to get paid for the time that I'm doing this. And I've been a piano teacher for several years, and it took me a long time to get around to being okay with asking for as much as I'm worth for that as well. I went through tons of I don't know, they don't think I'm worth it. They don't, I probably am not. I don't know why people are still taking whatever. All of those things go on in your mind. But yeah, just have to do it with podcasting now too.
Listen, here's the thing. You put this stuff online and whatever platform, if it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube, those companies are all making money off of your content.
You're not
They're
wrong.
all making money off of your content. Why are you being self-sacrificing
for them? Yeah, that's
in
true.
order to create content for them that they need.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So that's when you realize where that is. This isn't like self-sacrificing for the people listening. You're actually self-sacrificing for these massive corporations, tech companies that are making tons of money. They're making way more money than they give you a portion of. They throw pennies at the people who create the content.
No, you're totally right. Okay, I'm going to totally rethink this. My whole platform. No, I mean, because I do love the conversations, and I think, I'm probably worth it.
You are. You just have to realize your own worth and accept it and embrace it. I mean, I had the same struggles. Yeah. And listen,
how did you get into the advertising world though? Did people just start contacting you?
Oh no. I had to go to events and basically I had to learn to pitch myself.
Pitch yourself. Okay. Yeah.
And just on the spot to somebody I just met and be like, hey, you should pay me a bunch of money to create something. What is that? I don't know. But I feel like you should pay me for it. And if you pay me, then maybe I'll come up with an idea for you. And I'll let you know what I'm going to create.
Wow.
You sound like a crazy person.
Right.
And you learn to come up with that elevator pitch and be able to demonstrate your worth and sell your skill set. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And it's so uncomfortable to be like, yeah, I'm amazing. And I can do all of these cool things.
I know, especially when you're taught your whole life to be humble.
Yes.
It's hard to talk about yourself.
Yeah, it really is. But I think this goes back to treating everyone on the same level, an equal playing field. Yeah. It's made me realize too that the person I'm pitching to, they're not better than me and I'm not better than them. We're just on the same level and I'm just having a conversation. Wow, I have skills and talents that are of value.
And I can help you.
Yeah. I can help you. I have value to offer you.
Yeah.
You have value to offer me.
Win-win. Yeah. Okay. Well, this was a tangent. It was a good one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And listen, it's not really a tangent because this is something that I've been fully invested in and during my whole journey, I realized just the value of what people are doing, creating content online. And I was so grateful for the people that gave me advice and help along the way that I have made it a point to pay it forward and just help people.
Yeah.
Help people create these online empires. And it's something that I'm really proud of, not because I've done anything, because it's been them.
Been a team. Yeah.
But I've just been proud that there is a space that exists where women can support women and build each other up, because I think there is this tendency to like pit women against each other and make them competitive and compare themselves to others. Well, she's prettier or has this, you know, and like, I'm not as good as her, I'm better than her. No, that there can be this community where rising tides lift all boats, and that you can work together to build something. And I'm so grateful for the women who've helped build me up. And I'm grateful to be a part of the support system for others.
Yeah. And
have witnessed these stories of the women who created the internet and been just a small part of that.
It's a Sendy community.
It is. And I think that that's really cool that those communities exist and that they are still going forward. As crazy as the internet can be right now, there are still so many people that are putting out goodness in the world and sharing that goodness behind the scenes too.
You find what you're looking for.
Yeah. And there is goodness to be had.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you're definitely a big part of that goodness. So thank you for rising my boat a little bit higher.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable enough to even say and share those things.
Yeah.
And also being willing to accept when I point out you are making yourself smaller. Don't make yourself smaller.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, I'm glad that you had me on here.
Yeah. Oh, this has been really great. Well, I do have some rapid fire questions that I always do at the end. So it lightens the mood and it kind of gets us to a little bit more of this, you know, day-to-day sort of surface kind of conversation that we all need to have a little bit of it too. So tell me, what has brought you joy in the last 24 hours?
Last night was our Halloween meal where I make all these silly things like meatloaf in the shape of a zombie foot, and it all looks disgusting, and Jello worms, and everything looks absolutely disgusting but tastes delicious, and it brings me joy. And especially this year, just being able to actually do it.
And eat it.
Yes.
And enjoy it.
Be able to do it. I love it.
That's so great. So do you have a place on your website where you've got all the Halloween?
No.
Okay.
No, but my sister does, because this is a tradition that my mom started when I was a kid, and it was something I look forward to. And now we all send each other the pictures of the silly things that we make.
Okay. What about a documentary or a TV show that you like to watch?
The one that I like to put on a lot lately is called Midway.
Oh, Call the Midwife. Yeah. Okay.
It's such a soothing show to watch. It focuses on like goodness and service, and I feel like it's just very grounding. So I love watching that show, and there's like 1 million episodes.
Yeah. Well, bring out the positivity.
Yeah. So I always feel good. It also makes me feel things. Because it's telling different stories of different situations in life. And I love that.
Connecting to people. Yeah. Again. Yeah. What about a charity or nonprofit that you support?
Feeding America.
Okay.
So that donates to all the food banks across America.
Beautiful. And we especially need that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, what about a figure from history or a woman from history that you really admire that inspires you?
There's plenty of women that inspire me, but really Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
Yes. Okay. His life story and the way that he was very self-sacrificing through his early political campaigns and his attorney days down to the office of the presidency. And he invited people into his cabinet that had directly campaigned against him.
Wow.
Because he was interested in representing all people and connecting with all the different ideas and bringing people together.
I love that.
And I just think that that's something so aspirational of, can you be that kind of person through your whole life? And no matter what level you are at with your achievements or positions that you find yourself in, I think his life is just totally fascinating.
Can we respect each other?
Yeah. What can we do?
The table.
Like, I think being able to accept that you don't have to think the same or agree on the same things to live together.
Yeah. And be happy together and to pick out the good things.
I mean, and that applies to everything, to roommates, to marriages.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the same person.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Okay. What's something that you try to do every day?
I try to exercise every day now.
Good. Because you can.
Because I can. And it's something I've daydreamed about for so long.
Yeah.
I try to exercise every single day.
What kind of exercise? Is it different or?
So right now I'm limited in what I can do because I've got a lot of atrophy to recover from, but I do Pilates to work on my core strength and fine tune those imbalances that I have. And I've made so much progress with that. And then I walk.
Okay.
Now that it's getting cold, I will swim, which seems counterintuitive.
But you go to the rec center or something?
I actually have a pool in my backyard.
Perfect.
We built it because it was the only exercise I could do for a long time.
I've been over to your pool before.
And so, and it's a way for me to get outside. I still just don't tolerate the cold. And so it's really hard in the winter. I can't get outside.
Okay.
And that's depressing. And so it's a way that I can be outside during the winter. We heat our pool and I will swim.
That's great. Oh, good. All right. And what is something that I should try next?
Of course, I'm going to food, and that's not what you are asking. But when you say, what should I try next? So have you tried Dubai chocolate?
Dubai chocolate?
Dubai chocolate.
Dubai chocolate.
It's like this craze. They sell it started with these really expensive candy bars called Dubai chocolate, where it has pistachio in the middle and something called katafi, which is like this shredded pastry dough. It adds a little crunch to it. Now they have it at like Zupa's has a Dubai strawberry cup, or Costco has had several different Dubai chocolates and stuff.
No, I've seen
and
them
it's
there.
all about pistachio and chocolate, and I have loved pistachio for forever.
Okay.
And so pistachio is having a moment right now. It's in everything, which makes me so ridiculously happy. So please go just try some sort of Dubai chocolate.
If you wanted to find Rachel anywhere, you can find her everywhere.
Yes. So I am a little bit everywhere at the Stay at Home Chef. So the stayathomechef.com, the Stay at Home Chef for all social media
and YouTube and everything.
Everything. I was early on, so I have the handle for everything.
It's very easy to find Rachel Farnsworth, and and now you can find her on the Sendy Mom podcast. So keep coming back because it's pretty incredible. We have great conversations here. So thank you so much for being with me and like all your wisdom. You're amazing. You're a good person.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun to just chat and share stories.
Yeah, me too. So thank you for being with us today, and we will see you next time. In the words of Eleanor Roosevelt, do something every day that scares you.